What's up, everybody? Welcome to Dad's Expensive Hobby.
What's up?
Today we are taking a look at the Demoniacal Fit Time Vanguard, aka Goku. I think this is like that Xenoverse version of Goku. I am not overly familiar with that source material. I didn't get to see much of that or whatever was going on with it, so you'll have to forgive me. But 5K Toys had these in stock, and I just had to get one because I thought it looked really cool. I like Demoniacal Fit's packaging because it kind of looks like exclusive edition packaging from shfiguarts. His is just kind of red with some black right here. Doesn't necessarily stand out to me, and there is the back of it. But enough about the box. Let's get him out of the box and take a closer look at him. All right, now that he's out of the box, I really like this. I feel like I made a good purchase because I thought he looked cool, and in hand he really does. He is a pretty nifty looking little like rendition of Goku. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's see how tall he is. I'm going to imagine that he's as tall as every other Goku figure, but let's just make sure. To the top of his spiky hair, he is 6.5 inches tall, which would make the whole figure 16.5 centimeters, which is right on track with all the other Gokus. Let's look at his aesthetic, because this is a cool look for Goku. He's got like the jacket kind of thing, like vesty jacket, whatever, the duster bottom on it, and I think that looks really, really neat. Looking at his face, I haven't compared them side by side yet, but we will here in a second. But looking at this face, it's very, very reminiscent of the Saiyan Raised on Earth Goku, so I'm going to guess that this is probably a knockoff, not a knockoff, but like a copy of that one's face, but we'll look here in a minute. Nice matte finish all over this figure, even the legs and everything. This looks really, really nice. Bottom of the legs down here look very reminiscent of the Gogeta, so we'll take a closer look at that here in a little bit too. Not a big bunch of paint on him, and by big bunch I mean almost none, so that's a little disheartening. But for those of you out there that just like kind of colored plastic to just make everything nice and uniform, you will love this. And for those of you who are like me, who like a lot of paint, it might let you down a little bit in that department, but the aesthetic is very nice. His musculature and his chest looks really good. His arms and stuff look really good. One thing I want to point out is they actually sculpted these sleeves. When I was looking at pictures of this, I was worried that they were going to be painted on there and then I was going to have to throw a fit, but they are not. These are sculpted and they're done well, and I really like that, so I'm impressed. Got obviously the red jacket, the black undershirt, and black gi pants with those light blue, kind of almost like a UNC blue accented from the wristbands, the belt, and the leg wrappings. So he looks really good. Turning him around, somewhere the Demoniacal Fit stands out where SH Figuarts falls short is they've actually shaded the back, like the skirt part of this jacket, very subtly, and it looks really nice. The camera is picking that up, and I think that looks really good on that matte finished plastic. And the sculpt and stuff on this little, I'm going to assume is a sensu bean bag, is done very well. So, but we'll look at that just in a little bit better detail here in a minute. But let's get back to his faceplates really quick. Just want to show everybody, I'm pretty sure that's the Saiyan Raised on Earth face, but it looks pretty good. Got a little bit of detail underneath the eyes and stuff. But overall, he looks really a little plain Jane as far as no paint, but the sculpt and design is really, really cool. Let's look at his accessories really fast. Let's put him down, because with this Goku, we get 4 different looks with him. We get this serious face that comes on him in the package. We get a kind of grinning face right here that I like very well. I think that looks pretty good. He gets a teeth gritting face, and I like it. It looks exactly like the teeth gritting face from the Saiyan Raised on Earth Goku, and that's okay. And we get a yelling face that, again, I'm pretty sure is knocked off from that as well. We also get a shitload of hands. He comes with 14 different hands. He comes with fist hands on him in the package like usual, and then the same spread of Goku hands that you've seen with every other figure. But the ones that make this one a little bit unique is he comes with gripping hands right here, and that is for the next accessory we're going to look at, which is the power pole. Now, it's not like some master crafted thing. It is just a red piece of cylindrical plastic, but it looks good enough, and it'll work. It does kind of look like a red swizzle straw, but it doesn't look too bad. He also gets this version of the power pole that he carries on his back, and I like it pretty well. You know, we saw a smaller rendition of this with the Goku Mini from Daima. Had something very, very similar. This is just flexible plastic. It's like that matte plastic. There's no paint on it. It would have been nice if there had been a wash or some dry brush or something, but not that big of a deal. This isn't an expensive figure. And the figure here, this isn't solid plastic, like hard plastic, you know. This is very flexible, but it's done really well. It's got a nice, you know, made out, again, out of that matte plastic. Oh, I'm letting it unfocus. Sorry about that. But it looks good enough. So for, you know, I think he was like $45, which is not too bad. You know, you get some extra hands and a couple of accessories. Oh, and let's look at the sensu bean bag, which I think that's what this is. And it's just plain Jane, just like, you know, little, you know, grayish, off-white, you know, whatever, plastic. And it just ports right in here into his little waist belt. But again, not too bad of a spread of accessories because he is not, you know, necessarily an expensive figure. So I think that works pretty well. But let's stand him next to the Saiyan Raised on Earth Goku and compare their faces and see if I was correct. And yeah, I was. Those are the same face, a little bit different skin tone because of just, you know, the whatever way they use to make the skin tones different when they're making them. And the eyes are painted a little bit shape-wise, but this is definitely the same face, the same head sculpt overall. So it looks pretty good. And also, I was concerned that these leg wraps were going to be a knockoff of Gogeta's leg wraps. And they are not. They are their own sculpt, if you can see that there. And I really like that. Now, they did definitely use the same feet and just made them a different color, you know. But the leg wraps are a different sculpt. And the pants legs are a different sculpt. They aren't the same either, if you can see that. So I'm actually going to give them some props for doing some original stuff with that. That's pretty darn good. Ooh, and just for fun, because I love Broly so much, let's stand him next to Broly. And obviously the size difference is just like every other Goku. But I like getting Broly on the camera. It looks really nice. Ooh, and just one more. I need to quit saying ooh. I have the Demoniacal Fit version of UI Sign Goku right here, and they both look pretty good. He's obviously much shinier, but he is supposed to be, and I think those two look really nice next to each other. But anyways, let's take a look at his articulation. It's going to be very, very similar to a 2.0 Goku with a couple of little caveats, actually. Let's start at the head. Now, his head is the neck joint is a little stiff, but you do get some movement out of the neck right here. And his head, let's just go ahead and just rip this Band-Aid off and see what his head is on. Take the faceplate off, and we'll see here in a minute maybe if I feel like it, whether or not you can head swap, which I'm sure you can, because he is on a ball hinge. Son of a bitch! Everybody knows how I feel about that. But so, you know, that, in my opinion, limits head movement a little bit, but it can work if you'll finagle with it. And just like shfiguarts 2.0 Goku, he's got those shoulder caps, but if you get them out of the way, the shoulders will go up to 90 if you're willing to fuck with it a little bit, which I am. So it'll go up to 90. You know, it has what they like to refer to as a butterfly joint, but it's really not, and it doesn't give you much range. I'm being exaggerative as far as like how far apart the arms are, but they don't come super close together. And of course, just like, you know, 2.0 Goku's, the coloring in there always irritates me and most of other people. Got a very functional bicep swivel. Double jointed elbow that looks good and functions really well, and his wrist is on a ball hinge. Now, in the diaphragm, it does differ a little bit. It functions the same way, but the sculpt is different. If you see this right here, this has got that kind of up and down kind of cut into it. So, and I was worried that it would actually mess with the articulation, but it doesn't. He actually crunches forward. Let me get his arm out of the way. This is neutral. He crunches forward pretty good just on that diaphragm break with no gaps in the back. And we'll get a little bit of lean back, and that sculpt in the abdomen maintains. You get some twist out of it if you want it, and some nice lean and rock. And he has a ball peg in the waist that you can twist him around on. Now, this, like the skirt part right here and the belt, they are one piece, and they do kind of float around. I don't want to take him apart at the abdomen just in case I would break him, because, you know, sometimes these figures can be a little delicate. But these are connected, and they do float, and they'll move around independently. Now, for his legs, he's got this long duster jacket bottom on, but, you know, it's still 2.0, because he's got these kind of 2.0 kind of hips on him. These aren't the ones, unfortunately, these don't have the hip engineering of the Gogeta. So even right here, I can feel that even if this wasn't there, that's about as far out as you're gonna get.
Fuck.
He does do a good front kick, and he does not have, oops, that fell off, but no worries. He does not have a booty underneath there. So even with that in the way, he will kick back pretty well. So you see what I'm saying? You can get a full split of him. This wasn't blocking the side-to-side movement. That was just the extent of it. And he's got a thigh swivel, little tight on this leg, both legs, excuse me. But that's okay, not a big deal. And double jointed knee works just fine. Nice range of motion right there, and the proportions work just fine. No shin swivel. Crappy ankles. That double ball peg that they like to use down in there, and they, you know, the wiggle that you get from it, you're supposed to kind of call that an ankle rocker, but that's all the down you're going to get. You get almost no up because, just like shfiguarts, they don't really sculpt it to allow it. And a nicely tight toe hinge, but looks like dog shit, and I just don't like them. But overall, his articulation is good. Is, like I said, it's very on par with a 2.0 Goku, and we've all for years and years been accepting that, so I am not going to put my foot down necessarily today. Real quick, let's see if those face plates swap, just out of curiosity. Let me pop his face off real quick. Let me grab the Saiyan Raised on Earth, and let's see if those face plates match up. And it looks like they do. Here is the Time Vanguard, and in the left hand is the Saiyan Raised on Earth. And they do. Let's just put it on him just to see if I can get the damn thing on there. Yep. And it'll go on there just fine. And if you swapped them out, you would never even know the freaking difference. So there is that. Now, my final thoughts, or verdict, whatever you want to call it, for the Time Vanguard here. He's a good figure. He is a nice variation on Goku. It is definitely a nice, a welcome change from the 2.0 look that we have over and over and over again from shfiguarts for Goku. So if you want a fresh take on Goku for a good price, and he gets a decent little spread of accessories, and I think they went overboard with the hands. They maybe could have gave us something a little different instead of just a big bunch of hands. But for the price, I think it was like $45, something like that. From a reputable company, 5K Toys, you can trust them. It's a good figure. I would recommend picking it up. I am gonna give this a B+. He's a 2.0 Goku with a really cool design and a decent price. Room for improvement, of course, but that's the drawbacks to the 2.0 designs and engineering that they have. But that's all I've got for the Time Vanguard. He looks really cool. Keep an eye out for the Demoniacal Fit, the Scarlet Martialist. I picked that up too. That basically is a Kaioken version of theirs. I'm going to be doing a video on that. And with all that said, this has been Dad with Dad's Expensive Hobby, and I'll talk to you all in the next video.